I don't feel bad, but like it doesn't give me like a positive kind of feeling just reading it.
Money and power create romance for minds which often lose too much sleep. Fantasizing about even more poor and weakly created romance. Fame appears romantic by itself, for eyes seeing what wants to be seen, and sounds the same as it smells and tastes, wherever anonymous selves feel. Should one not survive the other two? Just do as everyone does at home. Should all three suffice for a lifetime? Never let the Romans rebuild Rome.
I don't really understand the complete message, but on the surface, I feel like it just shows that not everything that seems wonderful in life and not everything that is something that you desire to have is as wonderful as you think it is, and that fame especially appears nice on the outside but isn't as it is when you actually experience it yourself. And also with money and power.
Emotions and love are completely lacking, friendship, all these things. Like I don't see anything positive in here because it's only money, power and fame. It's like things that are presumably positive, but they are actually just talking, it's just about greed. So we could add greed, or we could add, I don't know, what's something that everybody wants that's like a wrong motivation. It's about wrong motivations, no?
To be honest, I would say sex. Sex could also be included in power, you know. I guess there's sentence like sex is actually all about power except sex itself.
Marriage, because I think there's a lot more to monogamy than we're grown up to believe.
If I could add a fourth element to fame, money and power, I think it would be community.
I think that friendship matters much more than those three.
Emotion, because it's like this is money, power, fame. Without emotion you cannot doing anything. It's like to some machine.
I would add personality, because it's the most important thing about romance.
But in the end maybe people want peace, and
in the end people want peace and love
and security
and happiness, or peace of mind and happiness.
Money and power create romance for minds which often lose too much sleep. Fantasizing about even more poor and weakly created romance. Fame appears romantic by itself, for eyes seeing what wants to be seen, and sounds the same as it smells and tastes, wherever anonymous selves feel. Should one not survive the other two, just do as everyone does at home. Should all three suffice for a lifetime, never let the romance rebuild Rome.
If you have the money, you have the power. Description about the emotion.
I don't think money and power have something to do with romance.
Money and Rome create romance for minds which often lose too much sleep, because that's what I see in the everyday life. All this sleeplessness because of money and due to the power.
We are always living in the past, like missing the past, fantasizing and creating a new future for us. But we are never at the moment, living our lives now, in the instant. The time flies.
You lose too much sleep and you try to get to somewhere, to get to some place constantly, and it's never enough.
I think everybody loses sleep over heartbreak and love at some point in their life, so I think that's a really deep and relatable.
Well, it's a bit everybody's story, isn't it?
The three things that most people want in life: money and power and fame. That's what everyone's looking for.
I think personally everybody pursues partially money, power and fame. We are all kind of stuck in the same wheel.
Nowadays, with the social media world, fame and money and power comes really easy to people who are pretty, but being pretty is not a guarantee for being loved, so that's really hard for people who are sometimes not that pretty or not commonly seen as pretty, because they feel like they don't deserve to be loved, but that's not true.
It's basically what triggers people to go on social media, no?
It's about Instagram. It's seeing what everybody else has and wanting to get it.
And trying to create like something that's not real and that you cannot hold and that you think you are, which you're not.
And also always wanting more.
Yeah. It's basically the religion of the presence. The main religion, I would say. Which is not good. But this is reminding.
Fame appears romantic by itself for eyes seeing what wants to be seen. That you can, when you're famous, you can choose what people see about you and what they know about you, but that's not the reality.
The inside of a person matters much more in the long run. People have been focusing on the things that others can see, but not others can feel.
For me, the last part is kind of pessimist, because as the author said, he has no faith on humanity, but I do believe in humanity. I have to.
Money and power create romance for minds which often lose too much sleep, fantasizing about even more poor and weakly created romance.
Fame appears romantic by itself, for eyes seeing what wants to be seen, and sounds the same as it smells and tastes, wherever anonymous selves feel. Should one not survive the other two, just do as everyone does at home. Should all three suffice for a lifetime, never let the Romans rebuild Rome. There's 3 people on the picture, and they're all the same, and I guess all 3 of them, one of them is money, power, and the other one is fame. And then I'm guessing that there's supposed to be another person on there who isn't there, which is like love and just the more kind of spiritual elements of life.
3 of them are waiting someone. I feel like obviously, you know, in this square there's something missing, and who knows what it is.
The meaning behind it is that money and power and fame seem like romantic and wanted by a lot of people, but there's like more than meets the eye behind these things. You like to see behind things that are commonly approved, like money, power and fame.
I think the poet sees the strive for these 3 things very critical.
Very observative and deep.
But you're quite a deep thinker.
Physiological.
Introspective. Money and power create romance for minds which often lose too much sleep, fantasizing about even more poor and weakly created romance. Fame appears romantic by itself, for eyes seeing what wants to be seen, and sounds the same as it smells and tastes, wherever anonymous selves feel. Should one not survive the other 2, just do as everyone does at home. Should all 3 suffice for a lifetime, never let the Romans rebuild Rome.
You would like to be isolated or indifferent about these topics, and you would like to be an observer of money, power and fame, which sometimes I feel like I am too. But in the end, I feel like to observe something means also to be involved. So you are not an outsider, you are also one of them.
Yeah, hopefully you will be famous by doing that.